Okay, carrying on with the Against the Grain beer tour. We have the newest beer out, the Banal Bees. Some people would say it's banal. Well, those of you looking at the Oxford Dictionary might say that, but those of us looking at Merriam-Webster, we're going to say banal. So Banal Bees is a honey wheat ale. It's brewed with some Canadian pale ale malt, wheat malt, and some honey malt from Canada. It's hopped with English Kent Goldings, German Hallertau hops. It gives it a really nice, clean, crisp flavor. We use 60 pounds in the last part of the boil, and that's going to add sugar, of course, but the yeast really ferments a lot of that out, so you're not left with much sweetness. You're left with a little bit of a honey flavor. So we designed the beer this way that we can add honey back to it in the serving tank. So we add raw honey back after it's fermented and right before it's served at the tap. So we added 6 pounds of the local wildfire honey from Hosie's Honey. I guess it's called Hosie's. Anyway, I don't know where they're from. Midway, Kentucky, I believe. So give props to them for their good honey. So the addition of honey there at the very last adds sweetness and a lot more honey aroma flavor. It's actually very, very potent there at the last. So turned out to be a nice balanced beer. I like it anyway. But you know, it's banal. It's fairly tepid, vapid, uninspired, or at least the bees that went into this was, I'm sure. Okay, so 4.5% alcohol, 22 IBUs. The starting gravity was 11 degrees Plato. This goes in the session tap. Oh, let's do our smell test. Yep. Get a little bit of a honey aroma, light hop aroma, just kind of nice, crisp and clean. Let's drink it. Ding, ding, ding. Again, not sweet, but a very, very balanced beer. This is one of the best balancing jobs I think we've done thus far. We actually designed this beer to be drier and hoppier right out of the tank so that we could add honey back to it to round it out a little bit better. So anyway, Banal Bees. Next on the beer tour is the Hop Tap, which is an ESB called Freakin on ESB. Came from the song by Fat Joe and Ashanti, What's Love? I remember that song from my youth. Not a very good song, never liked it, but it was on everywhere. There's a line, Freakin on E. So, Freakin on ESB. ESB is an English style. It's basically English's version of a pale ale. So we brewed this with a lot of Maris Otter malt, high quality European malt, and a Baird's Caristan from the UK. And then we just used a little bit of roasted barley for a little more color. Main component hop-wise in this beer is the East Kent Goldings, which is like the signature hop of the UK. So if you don't know East Kent Goldings, have this beer and you'll know what they are. If you like East Kent Goldings, you'll love this beer. Also, this is fermented with a European strain of yeast, so it gives it a little bit more fruity, almost minerally kind of aftertaste on it. Alcohol is 6%. IBUs are 54.5. Started the gravity at 14 degrees Plato. So let's take a whiff of this one. Again, you're getting a lot of English hops there. Maybe a little bit of caramel malts. But really, I think the hops stand out the most here. These Kent Goldings, nice and flowery aroma and perfumey, very pleasant and mild. Really is kind of like the standard descriptor for it. It's very hard to describe it because it's not like anything else. You know, as American hops go, citrusy and resiny and evergreen. Your English hops smell and taste like an English hops. It's really not a very good comparison to it. So anyway, we'll take a drink of it now. Ding, ding, ding. Has a little bit of caramel flavor, medium bodied, and again, some bitterness, a good portion of bitterness from hops, and again, that flavor of the flowery English hops, Kent Goldings, kind of lingers throughout the whole thing. Freakin on the SB, take it to your next rave, or you can just come here and drink it. Very good. Alright, next we have the Whim Tap, which is the Kentucky Ryed Chiquen. This is an amber ale brewed with rye malt and aged in rye whiskey barrels. The reason why it's called Kentucky Ryed Chiquen is one, it was made in Kentucky, that's the Kentucky part. Two, it has a lot of rye in it, and it was aged in rye barrels, so it has been ryed. And chicken, C-H-I-Q-U-E-N, as you know, if you look at the Urban Dictionary, chicken refers to anything that is not chicken, and this is definitely not chicken. So, that's Kentucky Ryed Chiquen. We brewed this with Maris Otter malt from the UK, and rye malt and some crystal rye from Germany. And that rye malt adds some spicy flavors and some dryness to the overall beer. Then we hopped it with some English Nugget and Kent Goldings, just enough for some balance to that. And then fermented with our Scottish ale yeast we're using right now. After that, we moved the entire batch into our private room barrel aging area right here, and let it sit in these rye barrels, which we got from Strong Spirits, the Redemption Rye. Aged it in there for 5 weeks, and pulled it back out of there and into our serving tank, carbonated, and here it sits ready for everyone to enjoy. So from the wood, we got some of that residual bourbon character, and you can really pick a lot of it in the aroma of this. It's not hot, but it's just a pretty well balanced barrel aged beer. So let's smell it, shall we? So yes, we get the rye whiskey character and some wood aromatics. Also, not much hop aroma. It's pretty much dominated by that bourbon and oak. And so we can drink it. Ding, ding, ding. And we get some of that spicy rye, some bourbon flavor. Wood kind of dries this beer out, making it nice and drinkable. Want another drink after you get done with it. And alcohol is 7.1%. Went into the barrels probably at 6.2, and we're just adding that much percentage. So there was probably a little residual bourbon in there. 27.4 IBUs, and the original gravity is 14.8. It's brewed on 11/3 of this year, and Kentucky Ryed Chiquen. Enjoy. Next beer in the Against the Grain Self-Guided Beer Tour Tasting Extraordinaire event is the Olde Lamontavious. Olde Lamontavious is an old or stock ale. It's the kind of style of beer they had the 19th century and turn of the century at English breweries. It's called an old ale because they would age this beer a full year before serving it. So this old ale has, this is kind of our interpretation of it. Doesn't of course have the year of aging, we just didn't have that much time. But we started out with just a lot of high quality English Maris Otter malt, and we added a little bit of chocolate malt and black malt just to give it this nice deep brown to reddish color. And we just we added enough hops to kind of balance it, make it not sweet, but not very hoppy either. That's why it's in this malt spot. Hops we used were English Nugget, excuse me, Kent Goldings, and I did American Cascade in the finish just because it sounded kind of good to me. Who knows? And we also added molasses in this, 72 ounces of molasses, just to give it some depth of character. So let's give it a try. Let's smell it first. Smells kind of toasty. Some of that chocolate malt coming up, fruity. This is fermented with Scottish style ale yeast at a relatively higher temperature, so you're getting in some of those esters from that. Now we can drink it. Nice and malty, but dry finish from those finishing hops, and just all around easy drinking. Higher alcohol, is a little over 8%, so if you didn't try this one, 8.2% IB or 8.2% alcohol, 41 IBUs, and the original gravity was 19.5 degrees Plato. There you go. Another beer in our whirlwind tasting self-guided tour is the Schwarzbier. A Schwarzbier is a black lager. German for Schwarz is black. Beer is for beer. Shvart is this name's beer. Shvarted. So it is a Shvarted is a Schwarzbier. It is made with Pilsner malt from Germany and some Caterpillar malt from Germany and also some midnight wheat from America. Midnight wheat gives it a very dark color and also a nice roasty flavor. Schwarzbier is normally not a bitter beer. It is also not a hoppy beer with the bitterness from the hoppies, but it is a nice, balanced, smooth beer, which is schwarz, or dark, or black. So let us experience this Schwarzbier. We'll start with aroma. It has the German Haas in it, which are the Hallertaus and the Schwartes. The Schwarze selectors, and that is the aromas we get in the Schwarz. So next we try the Schwarzbier in our mouths. Nice, Schwarz in my mouth with the light bodies and the good flavors of the bitterness from the hoppies and the dark beers from the hoppies, and it is a good beer. It is Backhorn, which is the alcohols, is the 5.1s, and the IBUs is the 30s. It's the original, it's the starting gravities of the 12.5s in the degrees Platus. It's a good beer for drinking. It is a nice beer. We like it. Shvarted. Thank you very much. Black and mild. This is a smoked porter. It is rich, chocolatey, with a roasted malt character. It also is our smoked beer, so we obviously added a lot of smoked malt to this. We added mostly beechwood smoked barley malt. We also had a small proportion of our own cherrywood smoked barley malt. So, very good. Starts out with the high quality. We'll talk about the what's in this beer. Starts out with high quality Maris Otter malt from the UK, United Kingdom, could be Great Britain, the GB. The smoked malt is mainly from Bamberg, Germany. Comes from Best Malting. Munich malt, some Cara Munich 80, which is a caramelized barley malt from France. That's been about a high medium color of red in it. Gives you a nice, good caramelized flavor in that 80-degree range. Some black malt, which is really, really dark malt. Chocolate malt, which provides a lot of the dark color, but also some chocolatey and rich character there. And then some Bear's Karistan malt, which is a lightly roasted malt thing. It's just going to give you a nice body and some sweetness and some biscuity flavors in there. So the hops start out with Nugget for bittering, and Nugget for bittering, and Kent Goldings for flavor and aroma. So kind of a thoroughly English beer with the German hops in it, or I'm sorry, the German malt in it, that kind of is a hybrid style between the English porter and a nice German smoked beer. So, talk about the numbers on this. This is 6.1% alcohol by volume, 38.5 IBUs, and it starts out at 15 degrees Plato on the original gravity. So, let's smell and taste. First we smell, obviously we're going to get some, mostly some smoked malt and smoky aromas. That's kind of the main component of this beer. We'll go ahead and drink it now. Boom, 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 boom. Full-bodied, roasty, smoky, black, and mild. It's not even so mild, but hey, we had to get the name in there. You know, what else you gonna? What else we gonna put on this beer? You got a better idea? Please tell me. So that's pretty much the smoked porter. Like it? You'll like it. Friends will like it. Mom, dad will like it. So get in here and drink some. You got a freak on that.
Hi, this is Tony Rossamato, proprietor and owner and manager of the local option in Chicago, Illinois. We came down and brewed this beer, Morning Wood, with Jerry at, I guess, the Grain Brewery. I still don't know what they have against grain down there. But anyway, I'm here. Jerry asked me to discuss this beer on camera for you. So here we go. This is a amber ale brewed with some Maris Otter Pale Ale, some flaked oats, German amber malt. It gives it a nice smooth body, nice sweetness. We then add American oak. We age it for 9 days on that oak. And then Jerry adds some cold extracted Mexican Chivas coffee from Blue Bottle. And that gives it the coffee flavor. So it's coffee and wood. Morning wood. Ha ha ha. Wiggity woo. Anyway, this is 7.1% alcohol, 40 IBUs, and 17 degrees original gravity. It's very hard not to get up for this beer. It's Morning Wood. Enjoy. It's Chingon.